Let's continue with the factor theorem, part 2. We are going to learn how to find a factor using a trial and error method. So let's quickly recap what a factor is. Ax plus b is a factor when f minus b over a is equal to 0. So that means ax plus b goes perfectly into the function of fx without a remainder. And what we want to learn now is how to find a factor and then factorize a cubic polynomial. So here's our example. We want to factorize fx, where fx is equals to x cubed plus 8x squared plus 11x minus 20. The first thing we need to find is a value of x that will make this expression equal to 0. And that is the most important part. You're going to use different values of x and you're going to substitute it in here, but you don't have to show the calculations. You simply punch it in on your calculator or do it mentally, whichever is quickest for you. So for example, if I replace x with 2 in this expression, the value of this expression becomes 42. Now 42 is not 0 and therefore I don't have a factor. And then I choose another value of x. If I substitute x with 1 in the whole expression, meaning 1 cubed plus 8 times 1 squared plus 11 times 1 minus 20, it is equal to 0. That means I have found a factor of the expression, a value that perfectly divides into the expression without a remainder. Remember, this is the remainder theorem applied. So if I substituted 2 into the expression, the remainder would be 42. And if I substitute 1, the remainder is 0. But now we want to find what the divisor is in this case, because we found 0. So x was equal to 1, and we have to reverse what we did for the remainder theorem. So x minus 1 is equal to 0. Therefore, x minus 1 is a factor of fx. And you want to show this part as part of your solution. You don't have to show the calculation when you substitute. I recommend that you show which values you have tested. And sometimes people ask, but which values of x do we replace? I suggest start with 1 and 2. If that doesn't work, go to -1 and then -2. And if that doesn't work, go to 3 and -3. But you want to find 0 as quickly as possible. Now that we have x minus 1 as a factor of fx, we can start to factorize. So first, I recommend that we copy down fx. So fx is x cubed plus 8x squared plus 11x minus 20. Then, what we have learned in the previous video is we put the factor in, so x minus 1, which is the factor, we place it next to this bracket, ax squared plus bx plus c. And now we are simply going to follow the steps that we have learned in the previous lesson. So to find the value of a, I multiply x with x squared, and I need to find a coefficient of 1. So if I replace a with 1, I will get x times x squared is x cubed. Then to find the value of c, I multiply -1 and c, and I want to get -20. So the value that I need to replace c with is 20. So -1 multiplied with 20 will give us -20. And now I have the values of a and c. Our next step is to create squares. So we are going to use 8x squared from the original expression, and within the brackets we multiply x with bx to get bx squared, and negative 1 with 1x squared to get negative x squared. Then I divide both sides with x squared, and now I can solve b, which is 9. Now that I have a value of a, b, and c, I can complete the bracket. And then our next step is to check whether or not we can factorize this second bracket. And in this case, we can. This is a normal trinomial, and this is how we factorize that trinomial. You would have learned this skill in grade 9 and 10 and 11. And now we have factorized the full expression. So in short, the 3 steps that we took is we found a factor by substituting. Then we found the values of a, b, and c in the second bracket, and we factorized the second bracket. And that's the steps that you use to factorize a cubic polynomial.